Whenever we talk about sci-fi cinema, there are a few films that leave a lasting impression on both the heart and the mind. Alita, Battle Angel, released in 2019, was one of those rare films. It not only immersed us in a world of breathtaking visuals and futuristic technology, but also beautifully portrayed the emotional struggle between humanity and machine. And now, the long wait for fans is finally about to end, because the next chapter, Alita, Battle Angel 2, is in the works. In this script, we'll take you on a journey that begins right where the first film ended and leads us into the continuation of Alita's story. At the end of the first movie, we saw Alita heartbroken. Hugo, the one she truly loved, was gone. Losing him was the most painful blow of her life, but it also became the fire that made her stronger than ever. In the first film, Alita discovered her true identity, where she came from, what she was, and why she had been destroyed. But that story was left incomplete because many questions remained unanswered. The movie ended on a powerful cliffhanger. Alita raised her sword and looked up at the floating city of Zalem, where Nova, the true puppet master behind everything, sat watching. Now, Alita, Battle Angel 2 begins from that very moment. Alita, who is now the champion of Motorball, carries only one thing in her heart: the thirst for revenge and her confrontation with Nova. Zalem is no longer just a city in the sky. It is the place that has haunted her dreams and her soul. Alita knows that if she wants the truth, she must reach Zalem itself. The first turning point comes when Alita realizes that brute strength and weapons alone aren't enough to get her to Zalem. She needs allies. In the first film, Dr. Ito, played by Christoph Waltz, was her strongest support. This time too, he stands by her side, but warns her that Zalem isn't just a city, it's a trap, and no one has ever returned from it alive. A new character also makes his entry into the story, a mysterious warrior who calls himself Fallen. Once a part of Zalem, he rebelled and escaped to Earth. Fallen tells Alita that Nova possesses a technology capable of capturing the very souls of both humans and machines. Hugo's memories, he reveals, might not have been completely erased. This sparks a fragile hope in Alita's heart, that maybe somehow Hugo can still be brought back. As the story moves forward, the Motorball tournaments return on a grander scale, but this time Motorball is not just a sport. It becomes the only road that leads to Zalem. Nova watches Alita's every move. He wants her to reach Zalem, but only so he can spring the ultimate trap. The midpoint of the film is the most emotional. Alita, together with Fallen and Dr. Ito, sets out on a mission to uncover Zalem's darkest secrets. What they find is shocking. Zalem is actually one of the last surviving cybernetic laboratories on Earth. There, humans and machines are being fused together to create a new race, one that Nova plans to control completely in order to dominate the world. But the greatest twist comes when Alita learns that her true identity is far bigger than she ever imagined. She is not just a warrior. She is the final hope of the Ergelian War. Alita is not merely herself. She is the bearer of a legacy, and Nova's grand design has always been to wipe out that legacy forever. The first part of this story ends with an explosive sequence. Alita finally prepares to ascend to Zalem. Her victory in Motorball earns her a direct path to the city's gates, and there, for the first time, she locks eyes with Nova. Their exchange is chilling. Nova smirks and says, "You think this game was for you?" "No. Every step was part of my plan to bring you here." Alita raises her sword, her eyes burning with fire, and replies, "Then you made the biggest mistake of your life. You picked the wrong girl to mess with." As Alita reached the gates of Zalem, silence spread inside her heart, because this was the very place she once dreamed of with Hugo. But now that dream was about to turn into her battlefield. The gates of Zalem stood tall before her, and on the other side waited her greatest enemy, Nova, whose eyes were filled only with arrogance and an insatiable hunger for victory. The shining city of Zalem, which looked so beautiful from the outside, was terrifying. On the inside, it wasn't truly a city at all, but a massive laboratory where human souls and machine bodies had been fused together to create abominations designed for one purpose: feeding Nova's power. Alita knew this wasn't just another fight. This was the ultimate test of her life. Because this time, the stakes weren't only about her identity. They were about the future of all humanity. When Nova looked at her, a smile curled across his face. He told her that no matter how hard she tried, she wasn't the real player in this game. She was just his pawn, and every step she had taken was exactly where he wanted her to be. Anger and pain burned in Alita's eyes because she had lost her love, Hugo, and now Nova was using his memory like a weapon against her. But Alita refused to let her tears become her weakness. She raised her sword and declared with absolute determination that the game was over, and the real war was about to begin. The most thrilling part of the film begins right here, as Alita storms into Zalem's grand arena, where hundreds of cybernetic warriors stand to block her path. Each strike aimed to break her body, but every wound only made her stronger. Beside her was Fallen, reminding her over and over that true strength doesn't lie in the body, but in the soul. With every step forward, Alita cut through Nova's soldiers one after another, her spirit burning brighter than ever. In the climax, Alita and Nova finally face each other head to head. Nova is no ordinary man. He is the emperor of technology itself, with the terrifying ability to control machines at will, and he goes to every extreme to break Alita. He taunts her with visions of Hugo, playing with her memories, trying to shatter her spirit. But Alita was no longer a broken girl. She had become a warrior. She turned her tears into strength and told him that even though he might hold fragments of Hugo's memories, his love and his trust would always remain with her. That very conviction gave her the power to strike the final blow against Nova. After a long and exhausting battle, Alita brings Nova down within his own laboratory. The machines that once obeyed his every command rise in rebellion against him because Alita had planted a virus into their systems. Nova's downfall becomes a victory for the entire world, and Alita transforms into more than just a warrior. She becomes a symbol of hope. The ending is deeply emotional. Alita cannot bring Hugo back, but she keeps a piece of his memory alive in her heart forever. When she returns to Earth, people see her not just as a champion, but as their protector. Dr. Ito looks at her with pride and says that Alita is no longer just his daughter, but the daughter of the entire world. The camera slowly focuses on her eyes, making it clear that this story isn't over, that Alita's journey is only going to grow bigger and more dangerous. Now, speaking of the film's release date, there has been no official announcement from the studio yet. But, according to reports and inside leaks, the movie could hit theaters by late 2026 or early 2027. The wait has been long for fans, but with James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez working to make this story as epic as possible, the patience will absolutely be worth it. As for the budget, the first film had a budget of around $170 to $200 million, this time with far more advanced visual effects, massive motorball sequences, and the breathtaking world of Zalem being expanded on a much grander scale. The budget could easily reach $250 million. James Cameron has always believed that if a story is told from the heart, every dollar spent on it is worth it. That's exactly why Alita, Battle Angel 2, is set to become not only one of Hollywood's most expensive films, but also one of its most visually stunning. Talking about the cast, Rosa Salazar will once again return as Alita, the role she made unforgettable in the first movie. Christoph Waltz will reprise his role as Dr. Ito, both Alita's father figure and her guide. Edward Norton's character, Nova, will finally take center stage in full force. And alongside him, a brand new mysterious warrior character will be introduced, Fallen. Hollywood insiders suggest that a big name like Jason Momoa or Oscar Isaac could take on this role, adding even more weight and intensity to the film. Now, let's discuss the box office potential. The first film earned around $405 million worldwide and was considered an underrated gem, as its fan base grew steadily and strongly over time. But this time, things are different. Over the past few years, Alita has achieved cult status, with fan campaigns across social media, turning it into one of the most talked about movies in Hollywood. That's why expectations are sky high. And industry experts believe that Alita, Battle Angel 2, could easily make between $700 and $800 million worldwide. And if word of mouth and reviews are strongly positive, the film could even cross the $1 billion mark. In the end, Alita, Battle Angel 2 is not just a movie. It's an emotional journey. It's the story of a girl who lost her love, but never lost her soul, who kept humanity alive in a world of machines, and who proved that no matter how impossible the struggle, victory will always belong to the one with a true heart. That's why this film is set to not only dominate the box office, but also remain immortal in the hearts of audiences.